we are again. I've got Tube Amp Girl in the shop, and we're going to fix a Kalamazoo amplifier. This one is humming from what I hear. The funny thing is I noticed that Tube Amp Girl has been in 3 different outfits for this video. I don't know why. What's the deal with that?
I have no idea. Maybe
we've shot this in a 3-day span and you had different clothing on? Right, Toe?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe that is so.
She's a great help in the shop, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing scrapping later on.
People don't know what scrapping is. When they hear scrapping, I mean, they think of some guy driving through your neighborhood grabbing your old water heater. What are you talking about? Yeah. All right, on with the video. Yes. There you go. Flippity-doo-dah. Okay? Now just be patient. You tell me what you think's wrong with it, okay? I hear nothing yet. Oh. Do you think it's happy?
Nope.
What do you think it is?
Probably...
You gotta talk to that camera.
It's probably broken.
Probably broken. Good diagnosis. So normally amps don't hum because they're happy. Amps hum because there's something wrong. So let's figure it out, okay?
Okay.
Alright. Alright, Emmy, so I've already pulled the back off of it. And you can see all the components, and down under there, what do you see?
Tubes!
Tubes, right? You got a big old speaker here. Alright, so when you're looking at all these parts, do you remember what these are?
Those are the capacitors?
No, those are transformers. And that is...
The...
Capacitor?
No.
It is. It is a capacitor. And its job is to filter the power in the amp so that it's clean. And what should it make the amp not do?
It should make it not hum and...
So, what do you think is wrong with the amp?
Something's wrong with that.
Right. I agree. And if you look, you know, it's very old, right? Kind of looks like an old cigar, doesn't it? Right.
What is wrong with you?
That's right. You don't smoke cigars.
Okay, moving on from that.
All right. So, let's change it out, okay? All right. So these old capacitors like this, Emmy, with the wires coming off of it, you can still buy them, but they're remanufactured and they're poor quality. So what I use is this. Okay? These are separate capacitors that are mounted on a terminal board. Okay? So what I do is I go in here and I cut this little pop rivet. Okay? I pop that off. We're going to put this in its place. Solder it up, and let's see if the hum goes away. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan that might work.
Might. Alright. Alright, Em, so I've had you in the shop in the past doing some scrapping, right? So,
piece of cake.
Yeah, so you're pretty familiar with a pair of wire cutters. Mm-hmm. So Emmy will get to do the first cut in the amp. She is going to cut the 4 leads coming off the filter cap, leaving me some little indicators of what the colors were. So go ahead. There's 1, 2. Good. Excellent. Okay, so those are all free, and we're no. We need those wires because those wires are going to go to our new capacitor.
Yay.
Okay, so these hopefully they'll reach. They may not. We may have to extend them.
Oh no.
But that's okay.
Oh no.
They will connect to this, but I needed a trail. I needed to know where they went. Okay. So the next step, I'm going to cut this rivet and get this thing out of the way. All right, so the new cap assembly is in place. There's actually 3 capacitors. So we know the red lead went to the bigger cap, remember? Because we could look at this one and see the color codes, right? And then we had the blue and the green that went to the other sections. and then this black one was the ground, right? And that is being taken place by this metal tab, so we do not need to use the black wire. That's going to go away. But what the question is, Emmy, is with that cap assembly and this big metal tab going to that chassis, what do you think it would take to solder that? You have any idea?
Well, of course, the Snozzeramus.
Oh, really?
Sit back and relax. Light up an old ghoul. A lot of people wonder where ghouls come from. Well, they come from all over. A lot of ghouls come from Portugal.
What do you think of that?
Pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, Em, so the new filter cap's installed. Don't put your fingers in there, okay?
Yeah.
So let's see if we have any hum.
Still humming, Grandpa. You got more work to do.
It is still humming. It's not as bad. Remember before it was really loud.
Yeah.
I got some other distortion in the background too. You hearing that? Sounds like there's
Yes.
a monkey in the other room.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so it looks like the Kalamazoo 2 is going to require a little more than what I expected. There's still some low level hum, not as bad as it was, but I need to get all the hum out of this amp. I've done a little bit of research online, and there's a lot of complaints of the Kalamazoo 2 having some hum. Some of it caused by filament wires, lack of bypass caps, lack of the little grid loading caps on the 12AX7. So I'm going to get the chassis pulled out, give her an inspection, and see what I can do to quiet it down. According to the schematic, one side of the 6-volt filament circuit is grounded to chassis, so I'm measuring that right now, and there it is. There's my ground, and there's the lead hooked to the filaments, okay? So what I want to do first is add a hum balance circuit. So you can see the two green leads here coming from the power transformer. And you got the little twisted pairs, right, going to the tubes. If you look under my test lead, you'll see this purple wire, and that is actually grounding one side of the filament right here. So I'm going to remove this and add a little hum balance circuit right here, and let's see what that does to the hum level. Alright, I made a few more changes, and this seems to have really made a big difference. I took this lug here, soldered it direct, and brought all my grounds to that point, rather than having them flying over the top of the pots. Also took the little grid loading resistor for the final output tube, and I soldered that direct. Okay? So now I have the amp on, and I'm listening to the noise level, as well as all the kids in the other room, bringing the volume up full bore. Very little to no hum. So that made a huge difference. The other update is the filament hum balance resistors, the 100 ohm resistors like Fender used. And here's a 1 meg resistor going from the 12AX7 pin 2 input to ground to load that grid. And it seems to have really made a huge difference on the hum level of the Kalamazoo 2. Alright, Emmy, I've wrapped up the repairs on the amp. I think the hum is eliminated. Of course, you have the major violator right there in your hand. Right, Toe?
Right,
now,
Toe.
do you hear any hum? Maybe just very faintly?
Yes. Or maybe that's your vent.
No.
I cannot tell the difference.
The thing is you remember what it used to be, and now
It's
pretty...
better. It's better.
Yeah.
Much, much better.
Yep, so sometimes it's not just a capacitor, huh? Yep. But you got to be part of it. Very cool. Appreciate it. See ya. So as an addition to the design of the Kalamazoo 2 amp, the owner asked for a rear jack to control his tremolo, because currently they just have a pot on the front that has a switch, and this switch simply applies a ground to this side of the pot, and then you can vary your speed, right? So it's pretty easy to install an external jack. To control that, we simply break this ground connection, install a jack on the rear, and then your foot pedal will toggle the ground on and off. So I'm simply going to run a wire from that over to the switch. So you still have to switch on the pot so you can vary the speed, but then you're going to have a secondary means of toggling the tremolo on and off with your foot pedal. So here's a vintage input jack wired up, and I'm looking at it with my ohm meter. So right now you can see it is closed, and then if somebody were to install a jack, it'll open the ground. Open and close action right there. That'll be with your foot pedal. I got the wiring installed. You can't even hardly tell it's not original. So I can turn on my tremolo now with the front knob so you can see the action of the switch. Okay. Or I can take my finger here and push on this little plunger, and you can see the foot pedal will also break the ground connection. Alright, here we go. I've got the scope hooked up across the speaker. You can see the output there. The wavering that you see is because the scope is not grounded. It's on the output transformer side, and on this amp it floats. So that's a natural thing that you will see. Alright, so let's check out the tremolo. There it is, doing its thing. And I can kill it with my external foot pedal. So she's good to go. Alright, mission complete. Kalamazoo amp is up and running, and probably quieter than it ever was, with the help of Tube Amp Girl. Right, buddy?
Alright.
So what did you do?
Righto.
So what did you actually do? What was your part of the repair, by the way?
Probably cutting the first cut.
Oh, cutting out the gold capacitors. Righto. Excellente. That's another one of the Daytonisms. I have a lot of them, don't I?
Really?
Really. High five, good repair. Alright. Let's tear here D-Lab with...
Stop, babe girl.
Wrong.